Pharmaceutics-I. Introduction to pharmaceutical dosage forms. Drugs are usually administered in the form of formulated preparations. The formulations containing active medicament and number of other components, collectively called excipients, comprise a dosage form. The various dosage forms may be classified in a number of different ways. 1. Based on physical form, e.g., solid dosage, liquid dosage and semi-solid dosage form. 2. Based on the route of administration, e.g., oral, topical, inhalations, ophthalmic, parenteral dosage from etc. A brief introduction to different dosage forms is given below. 1. Aerosols. The term aerosol is used to denote pressurized systems consisting of a very fine dispersion of a liquid or solid in a gas. Pharmaceutical aerosols consist of an aerosol product containing therapeutically active ingredients in dissolved, suspended or emulsified form in a propellant or a mixture of solvent and propellant and intended for topical administration or for administration into body cavities. These are supplied in a mechanically strong container from which the medicament is delivered either in the form of a spray, foam, powder or a fine mist. Oral aerosols have been used to deliver medicaments like epinephrine, isoprenaline, beclomethasone, salbutamol etc. for the symptomatic treatment of asthma and migraine headache. Topical aerosols have been used as local anesthetics, antiseptics, first aid preparations, dermatological products, food preparations and spray-on protective films. 2. Applications. Applications are liquid or semi-liquid preparations containing one or more active ingredients intended for application to the skin. These are supplied in the form of solutions or suspensions and are generally used as antiparasitics. Examples of medicaments supplied as applications include benzyl benzoate, gamma-benzene hexachloride and malathion. 3. Aromatic waters. Aromatic waters are clear saturated aqueous solutions of volatile oils or other aromatic substances, usually employed for their flavoring rather than medicinal properties, although a few of them have therapeutic activity. These are usually prepared by diluting a concentrated, ethanolic solution of the aromatic substance with water. Their odor and taste are similar to those of the drugs or volatile substances from which they are prepared. Camphor water, chloroform water and peppermint water, strong rose water are examples of aromatic waters. 4. Cachets. Cachets are solid dosage form meant for oral administration of nauseous and disagreeable drug substances. These are molded from rice paper, a material made by pouring a mixture of rice flour and water between two, hot, polished, revolving cylinders upon which water evaporates and a sheet of wafer is formed. For filling, the medicament is placed between two pieces of a cachet which are then either wet sealed or dry sealed. Cachets are made in of sizes holding from 0.2 to 2.0 grams of a powder of medium density. Before administration, they are softened by immersion in water for a few seconds and then taken with a draught of water. 5. Capsules. Capsules are solid unit dosage form in which the medicament is filled in a water-soluble hard or soft shell of a suitable form of gelatin. Hard capsules are generally used for filling solid medicaments, although liquids can also be filled by incorporating suitable excipients in the formulation. These capsules consist of a cylindrical body and cap, both with hemispherical ends, and are usually made from gelatin, water, plasticizers and preservatives. The ingredients are filled into the body by suitable means and the cap is then slipped over it. Soft gelatin capsules are used for filling solids, liquids as well as semi-solids. They consist of a single part and are of various shapes, spherical, ovoid or cylindrical. The shells are usually formed, filled and sealed in a combined single operation. In addition to the ingredients of hard gelatin capsules, they contain an increased quantity of plasticizers like glycerol and sorbitol which provide flexibility to the shell. Soft capsules can be modified to impart enteric, chewable and with some drugs, sustained release properties. They have also been employed for rectal or vaginal use and for filling ophthalmic, topical, or nasal preparations for single application. 6. Collodions. Collodions are liquid preparations, usually containing pyroxylin, nitrocellulose, in a mixture of ether and ethanol. They are intended for application to the skin. When they are allowed to dry, a flexible film is formed at the site of application. Nitrocellulose acts as the film former while the substance giving the flexibility is castor oil. Unmedicated collodions are useful for protecting small cuts and abrasions, while the medicated ones provide prolonged contact between the skin and the medicament. 7. Creams. Creams are viscous liquid or semi-solid emulsions of either the oil in water, OW, type, or water in oil, with O type. Medicated creams are semi-solid emulsions containing suspensions or solutions of medicinal agents meant for application to the skin or certain mucous membranes for protective, therapeutic, or prophylactic purposes. In addition to medicated preparations, creams also include a variety of cosmetic-type preparations. Creams of the OW type include shaving creams, vanishing creams, hand creams, etc. O creams include cold creams, emollient creams, cleansing creams, etc. 8. Drafts. Drafts are medicated, oral liquid preparations, of which only 1 or 2 rather large doses are prescribed. Each dose is usually issued or supplied in a separate container. 9. Ear drops. Ear drops are liquid preparations meant for installation into the ear. In these preparations, the drug is usually dissolved or suspended in a suitable solvent such as propylene glycol, polyethylene glycol, glycerol, alcohol and water, or a mixture of these. Aqueous vehicle is generally not preferred because the secretions in the ear are fatty in nature and as such these do not easily mix with water. The main classes of drugs used for the topical administration to the ear include analgesics like benzocaine, antibiotics like neomycin, and anti-inflammatory agents like cortisone. 10. Elixirs. Elixirs are clear, pleasantly flavored oral liquids containing one or more active ingredients dissolved in a vehicle that usually contains a high proportion of sucrose or a suitable polyhydric alcohol or alcohols and may also contain ethanol. The alcohol content in most elixir varies from 4 to 40%. Medicated elixirs are exemplified by chlorpheniramine maleate elixir OC and piperazine citrate elixir IP, and the non-medicated ones by aromatic elixir USP and compound benzaldehyde elixir NF. 11. Enemas. Enema are solutions, suspensions or oil in water emulsions that are introduced into the rectum for cleansing, therapeutic or diagnostic purposes. Evacuation enemas are rectal injections employed to evacuate the bowel in constipation or before an operation, e.g. enema of soap. Sodium phosphate enema, olive and arachis oil enema, etc. Retention enemas are usually employed to influence the general system by absorption or to affect locally the seat of disease. They may possess anthelmintic, quassia, nutritive, sedative, chloral hydrate, or anti-inflammatory, corticosteroids, properties, or they may contain radio-opaque substances, barium sulfate, for X-ray examination. Large volume enemas are administered from a douche can and should be warmed to body temperature before use. Small volume enemas are available in polythene or polyvinyl chloride bags sealed to a rectal nozzle, and these are more convenient for personal administration since the patient has simply to insert the nozzle and squeeze the bag. 12. Extracts. Extracts are concentrated preparations of liquid, dry or intermediate consistency obtained from vegetable or animal matter by removal of the active constituents of the respective drugs with suitable mentrua, evaporation of some or all of the solvent, and adjustment of the residual mass to the desired or prescribed consistency. These are prepared by maceration, percolation or other suitable methods using ethanol or other suitable solvent. After extraction, unwanted matter is removed, if necessary. Liquid extracts are fluid preparations of which one part is usually equivalent to one part of the original dried drug. E.g., liquid extract of hyoscyamus, liquid extract of belladonna. Soft extracts are preparations of consistency, intermediate between liquid and dry extracts. They generally have a dry residue of not less than 70% with W. E.g., pure glycyrrhiza extract, cinchona extract. Dry extracts are solid preparations obtained by evaporation of the solvent used in their production. Dry extracts usually have a dry residue of not less than 95% with W. E.g., dry extract of Rauwolfia, dry extract of belladonna. 13. Eye drops. Eye drops are aqueous or oily solutions or suspensions of one or more active ingredients for installation into the conjunctival sac of the eye. These are sterile, free from foreign particles and irritating effect. They usually contain auxiliary substances, for example, to adjust the tonicity or viscosity, to adjust or stabilize the pH, to increase the solubility of the active ingredients or to stabilize the preparation. Aqueous preparations supplied in multi-dose containers contain suitable antimicrobial preservatives except when the preparation itself has adequate antimicrobial properties. Eye drops usually contain antimicrobial substances like sulfastamide and gentamicin, anti-inflammatory agents such as corticosteroids, miotics like fuzostigmine sulfate or mydriatic drugs like atropine sulfate. Eye drops are generally supplied in sealed dropping bottles or sealed bottles along with a dropper. The preparation is meant to be used within 15 to 30 days of the opening of the seal. These are usually supplied in quantities of not more than 10 ml to avoid use over too long a period of time. 14. Eye lotions. Eye lotions are sterile, aqueous liquids for use in washing or bathing the eye or for impregnating eye dressings. These usually contain auxiliary substances like buffers, salts and preservatives. Eye lotions are usually applied by means of an eye bath and are diluted with water before use. Normally eye lotions should not be applied to damaged eyes. E.g., sodium chloride eye lotion. 15. Eye ointments. Eye ointments are sterile, semi-solid preparations of homogeneous appearance intended for application to the conjunctiva or margins of the eyelids. They contain one or more active ingredients dissolved or dispersed in a suitable base like soft paraffin, liquid paraffin and wool fat. They also contain suitable auxiliary substances like antioxidants, stabilizing agents and antimicrobial preservatives. The base should be non-irritant to the eyes. If the medicament is insoluble in both water and the base, it must be in a very fine powder form to prevent irritation to the eyes. Eye ointments are generally supplied in small, sterilized collapsible tubes fitted or provided with a nozzle. The content of such containers is not more than 5 grams of the preparation. Current trend in eye ointments is to pack them in single application capsules so as to avoid contamination during use. Such soft gelatin capsules have to be punctured with a sterile needle just before use and discarded afterwards. 16. Gargles. Gargles are aqueous solutions used for treating the pharynx and nasopharynx by forcing air from the lungs through the gargle which is held in the throat. Usually gargles have to be diluted with water prior to use. Gargles are intended to bring the medicament into contact with the mucous surface of the throat. As the contact period of the gargle and the mucous membrane is short, the preparations must have acceptable organoleptic properties and should be fast-acting. E.g., phenol gargle, potassium chlorate and phenol gargle. 17. Gels. Gels are semi-solid systems comprising of either suspensions made up of small inorganic particles or large organic molecules interpenetrated by a liquid. Where the gel mass consists of a network of small discrete particles, the gel is classified as a two-phase system, e.g., aluminium hydroxide gel. In the two-phase system, if the particle size of the dispersed phase is relatively large, the gel mass is sometimes referred to as magma, e.g., bentonite magma. Both gels and magmas may be thixotropic, forming semi-solids on standing and becoming liquid on agitation. They should be shaken before use to ensure homogeneity. Single-phase gels consist of organic macromolecules uniformly dispersed throughout a liquid in such a manner that no apparent boundaries exist between the dispersed macromolecules and the liquid. Single-phase gels may be made from synthetic macromolecules, e.g. carbomers, or natural polymers, e.g. cellulose derivative like hydroxyethyl cellulose, hydroxypropyl cellulose, etc., and gums, e.g. tragacanth. Although single-phase gels are mostly prepared using hydrophilic solvents like water, glycerol, propylene glycol, alcohol, etc., hydrophobic gels can be prepared using mineral oil with polyethylene or fatty oils gelled with colloidal silica or aluminium or zinc soaps. 18. Glycerins. Glycerins or glycerites are solutions or mixtures of medicinal substances in not less than 50% by weight of glycerin. Most of the glycerins are very viscous and some are of jelly-like consistency. Some of the glycerins are used in their original form as medicinal agents while others are used to prepare aqueous or alcoholic dilutions of substances, which are not readily soluble in water or alcohol, e.g., glycerin of thymol, phenol, borax, boric acid, starch, etc. 19. Granules. Granules are preparations consisting of solid, dry agglomerates of powder particles sufficiently resistant to withstand handling. They are intended for oral administration. Some are swallowed as such, some are chewed and others are dissolved or dispersed in water or any suitable liquid before being administered. These contain one or more active ingredients with or without auxiliary substances like sweetening, coloring and flavoring agents. This dosage form is suitable for medicaments which have an unpleasant taste or a large dose or those which are unstable in solution form. This dosage form is also suitable for those medicaments where a fast onset of action is desired. For the preparation of granules, the ingredients are generally mixed and moistened to form a coherent mass, which is then passed through a suitable sieve and dried. These are then presented as single-dose or multi-dose preparations. For single-dose preparations, each dose is enclosed in an individual container such as a sachet, a paper packet or a vial. Multi-dose preparations are usually supplied in a bottle pack. Some of the multi-dose preparations are supplied in such a manner that their contents have to be dissolved or suspended in freshly boiled and cooled water in the container itself. Such preparations, also known as dry syrups, have to be used within the prescribed period of time, usually a week, after reconstitution. Several categories of granules may be distinguished, including uncoated granules, effervescent granules, granules for preparation of liquids for oral use, dry syrups, coated granules, gastro-resistant granules and modified release granules. Effervescent granules. Effervescent granules are uncoated granules generally containing acid substances like citric acid or tartaric acid along with either carbonates or bicarbonates which react rapidly in the presence of water to release carbon dioxide. These are intended to be dissolved or dispersed in prescribed quantity of water and taken during effervescence or immediately afterwards. The effervescence from the release of the carbon dioxide serves to mask the taste of salty or bitter medicaments. Gastro-resistant granules. Gastro-resistant granules or enteric coated granules are intended to resist the gastric fluid and to release the active ingredient or ingredients in the intestinal fluid. These properties are achieved by covering the granules with a gastro-resistant material like cellulose acetate pH phthalate or methacrylic acid derivatives, eudrigettes, or by other suitable means. Modified release granules. Modified release granules are coated or uncoated granules prepared using suitable auxiliary substances or procedures which, separately or together, are designed to modify the rate or the place at which the active ingredient or ingredients are released. 20. Infusions. Infusions are dilute solutions containing the readily soluble constituents of crude drugs. Fresh infusions are usually prepared by macerating the drugs for a short period of time with either cold or boiling water. As these infusions do not contain a preservative, They deteriorate quickly and must be used within 12 hours of their preparation. Fresh infusions are no longer used now and have been replaced with concentrated infusions. These are prepared by cold extraction with 25% alcohol, which also acts as a preservative. The product can thus be preserved or stored indefinitely. Dilution of 1 part of concentrated infusion with 10 parts of water gives a preparation similar to the corresponding fresh infusion. The diluted preparations, like fresh infusions, should be used within 12 hours. E.g., concentrated compound Chirata infusion, compound concentrated gentian infusion. 21. Inhalations. Inhalations are solutions or suspensions of volatile substances administered by the nasal or oral respiratory route in the form of vapor. They are intended to release their volatile constituents for inhalation either when placed on a pad or when added to hot water. A suitable device such as a vaporizer may also be used for the purpose. Inhalations are administered either for their local action on the bronchial tree or for their systemic effects through absorption from lungs, e.g., ephedrine inhalation, isoproterenol hydrochloride inhalation, benzoin inhalation, etc. 22. Insufflations. Insufflations are finely divided powders intended for introduction into body cavities such as nose, throat, ears, vagina with the help of insufflators, which are simple devices enabling blowing out of powders in a stream of gas with the help of little compression. Generally, insufflations are intended for local actions, but the intranasal ones can produce systemic effects also. Insufflators suffer from the drawback that uniform dose delivery cannot be regulated. This drawback has, however, been overcome through the use of aerosol packages specially for potent drugs. Examples of insufflations include boric acid insufflation and pituitary insufflation. 23. Irrigations. Irrigations are sterile solutions of medicaments used to treat infections of the urinary bladder, vagina, and sometimes the nose. They are also used for the flushing of wounds or operation cavities. They are administered into the urinary bladder using a thin, soft, sterile rubber or plastic tube known as catheter. For vagina, a vulcanite or a vaginal pipe is used, and for nose, specially designed glass irrigator may be used, e.g., lactic acid irrigation, sodium chloride irrigation, etc. 24. Jellies. Jellies are transparent or translucent, non-greasy, semi-solid preparations mainly for external use. They may be prepared from natural gums such as tragacanth, pectin, alginates, or from synthetic derivatives of natural substances such as hydroxypropyl methylcellulose and sodium carboxymethylcellulose. The jellies are mainly used as lubricants for surgical gloves, catheters, and rectal thermometers. Certain jellies are also used for contraceptive purposes and contain surfactants to enhance the spermicidal properties of the jelly. Lidocaine hydrochloride jelly is also used as a local anesthetic.